Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Another video I did not expect to be making. I was literally just getting in bed, thought I'd have a glance at my phone before bed, quickly check Twitter, or X, and Sunderland announced at 10 o'clock at night, saying Tony Mowbray has departed the club. He's been sacked, essentially. Now, although I could kind of sense it coming, it still shocked me, and I'd like to think and I hope that the club do have an immediate replacement in mind, or at least lined up. But firstly, I do want to place on record, my thanks and gratitude to Tony Mowbray, who has given us some fantastic memories last season in particular, and this season. Of course, recently, and I did say in the review to last game, I was losing the plot a little bit, and of course, it was just a highly emotional video, an emotionally charged video, and you're angry about a result or a performance. And I think it just got to the point where I'm not entirely sure whether his views of the club or where we should be going lined up with the board anymore, with KLD and with everyone else at the board and at the helm. I think his standards were slipping, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think there was some almost delusional post-match press conferences and post-match interviews. And performances have dipped, and even when we have won some games, we haven't played great, which that's a sign of a good team generally. But then, particularly in recent weeks, when we have played as poorly as we have done, particularly against Millwall, I think Millwall were the better side, and then Mowbray comes out and says we've absolutely dominated, we've made lots and lots of chances, they've barely seen the ball, they've had nothing, and it was like, what game were you watching? And he's only had an interview, I think it was yesterday, potentially, where he was stating that, and you knew that this was it was the kind of interview that you would have if you knew you were going or something was going to happen, because he was just saying how, we need to take our time, it's going to take a long time for certain players to progress, they're all young, so A, B and C are inexperienced, but he didn't have that attitude before, and I think what's happened is, last season, KLD may have had that same outlook as Tony Mowbray, as this is going to take several years, this, building blocks, get sustainability in the championship, play a certain brand of football, stick to it, stay up first season and then build gradually. But of course then we've realised the massive amount of potential we've got on our hands with the span of this squad, or in terms of certain players, we've got a lot of youth running through the squad and need to be nurtured correctly. But we didn't realise how good they were going to be. Of course, finishing in the top six last season, and then this season we've largely been in the top six from early on in the season, and then we've just started to drop off considerably, and performances have dropped off, and Tony Mowbray is trying to justify poor performances at the moment. I think when that happens, the board are going to be like, right, we're not on the same wavelength here, and I think that's what's happened. But I'm not going to bore you anymore. I'm going to quickly go over the club's statement. So Sunderland FC has this evening parted company with head coach Tony Mowbray. The club would like to thank Tony for the positive contribution he has made throughout the past 2 seasons alongside his assistant Mark Venus, who also departs. Both will always be welcome back at the Stadium Light, and we wish them well for the future. Sporting Director Christian Speetman commented, all at SAFC have thoroughly enjoyed working with Tony, and he is quite rightly held in high regard by our players and staff and our supporters. After arriving at an uncertain time, he helped guide us to the Sky Bet Championship playoffs and played an important role in developing our team. This was a difficult decision to make, but we remain loyal to our ambition and our strategy and felt that now was the right moment to take this step. We are now focused on identifying the right candidate, and we will continue to support our coaching team and players throughout the interim period. Chairman Kirill Louis-Dreyfus added, I would like to place on record my gratitude to Tony for his hard work and commitment to Sunderland, a place where he will always be welcome. As custodians of our great club, we believe in our long-term strategy that we hope will ensure sustainability and success for SAFC. Central to that approach is a relentless demand for a high-performance culture to be implemented throughout the club and the development of a strong playing identity that you, our loyal supporters, can all be proud of. Your continued support will always be fundamental to that progress, and we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at the Stadium Light throughout the festive period as we enter 2024. Supported by the club's existing coaching team, Mike Dodds will lead the first team's training and match preparations until the process to appoint a new head coach has concluded. So as KLD has alluded to then, pretty much in the same sort of pattern as what I've just mentioned there at the beginning of the video, we're demanding at this club, and he demands a high level in terms of performances, and I think Tony Mowbray's vision has completely changed and just isn't aligned at the moment. And as I said, some of the delusional comments he was making, every press conference after games was just getting so repetitive in, we had lots and lots of shots, that's the big one. Well, we had lots and lots of shots, and we had so much of possession, we had lots and lots of possession, is what he just says over and over again. That doesn't win you games. And yes, we have these, we have strikers at the club that I know he did mention in a recent interview saying that they're inexperienced and stuff like that. But yes, they're inexperienced, but you need to try and find a system that fits those strikers or any striker which is side, and he has struggled to do that. Again, last season he did so well without a striker. He did excellently without a striker when we worked out a system. This season we have had strikers, whether they're inexperienced or not, and he hasn't managed to find a system that includes a striker. And I know, of course, the quality of the striker does have a part to play in this, but you can't even see what we're trying to do to include a striker. It is like we're playing with 10 men so often. So when the wingers aren't on their game, we're just not scoring goals. And you can have lots and lots of shots and lots of possession, all you like. It's the goals. That's the biggest stat and the most important stat. As we all know, that's the obvious one. And Tony Mowbray, I think he was just losing that a little bit, and we started to see these repetitive excuses, and it just wasn't good enough, and the standards were dropping considerably, and that's exactly what KLD has alluded to there. But that is it. So as I say, I wish Tony all the best. He really did give us some great memories last season, some fantastic memories, and this season some of the performances we have seen have been outstanding. But then in equal measure, there has been some really, really poor ones, in which I think a bit of responsibility needs to be taken for it. But instead, what we got was excuses, and at times, particularly after the Millwall game, which was the one that I mentioned earlier, it was just pure delusion, in my opinion. I think, is it the right decision? Possibly. Again, I was very heated after the Millwall game, and I was saying certain things. I don't necessarily take back what I said, but I think I was kind of acting as if I was sort of nailed on Mowbray out type thing, which wasn't necessarily the case. I was just kind of leaning in that direction a little bit, and I didn't expect them to make this move so suddenly, but they have done, and we need to move on. If we were to make a change in management in our coaching, it would have been now, midway through the season, rather than waiting to see us go into free fall, which could potentially happen, or could have, but we won't ever know now. That could have potentially been what was going on with Mowbray. It could have been the beginning of it. Maybe we've just nipped it in the bud. But whoever we bring in, we need to get right behind. You would think it is probably, I would think it would be a young up and coming manager, something completely different to Tony Mowbray. The only thing that I do worry slightly is I know that Tony Mowbray was a key factor in the bond that this group have got. This group is a very, very young group, as we know. He played a huge part in putting this group together, and the cohesion within the group is fantastic. I hope this doesn't dismantle that. I'm sure that KLD and Christian Speakman will have had a word with the players regarding this. I believe a lot of the players have very, very good relationships with both Tony Mowbray and Mark Venus. I think I did actually see an article just today, I think just slightly on topic, kind of off topic. Jack Clark basically said that he's happy at the club. The agent said, Ian Hart, former Sunderland man, claimed that Jack Clark is very, very happy at Sunderland. He loves playing for Sunderland. However, and he doesn't want to leave in January, but there will be a certain figure that apparently would be of interest, essentially, or basically Sunderland will have their value. And also said that he loves playing for Tony Mowbray, which is what I'm trying to tie into here. So would that mean the likes of Jack Clark and maybe others who are basically staying here under the assumption that they're going to be playing under Tony Mowbray, maybe that's now broken down? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks over this. Again, I didn't fully expect it. But anyway, it'd be very interesting to see what you guys think in the comments down below. But yeah, That's it for this evening, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Take care. Stay jammy.